Hi, everyone. Our first live stream, guys. Our first one.
What's up?
Welcome, everyone who's in the chat. Welcome. And yeah, we're looking forward to something great today because we have a lot to discuss, especially about Ajax. We will touch a little bit on the World Cup as well at the end. But Ajax is more important, guys. This is an Ajax channel. We know how it is. Before we start, just for everyone who's tuning in, you guys can ask us anything you want. You guys can drop a comment in the chat section as well. And let's start with, we need answers, guys.
We definitely need answers.
Yes.
All right. So, guys, I asked you to come up with some questions for Van der Sar. Today, actually, they had an interview with Ajax Live magazine about Van der Sar. And he had some interesting things to say. We'll touch upon that in a bit. But I asked you if you guys had any questions for Van der Sar, what would you ask him right now after the first few months? So let me go with EyeJax first. What would be your question to Van der Sar right now?
Wow. Throwing me under the bus right away. That first stream, bro. Thank you for that. No, I have some questions for him. That there's something going on within Ajax. We're not performing quite well. A lot of us blame the coach, but he stated in the media that the position of the coach is not being discussed. So he's safe for now. Also stated that H2, Huntelaar and Hamstra did a pretty good job considering they had a very busy transfer summer. So both parties are very important for the success this first half of the season. Had H2 because which players they brought in, which players they sold, and the coach which players he plays, and how he plays his tactics and stuff. And it's not going that well because we're in second place. So if both are not to blame, the coach is not being discussed, his position, H2 has done a pretty good job. I would ask him, who would be the person responsible then for the failure this first half of the season? Because he's taking everybody out of the consideration that it's their problem or that it's their fault. So who is the one accountable for it? That would be my main question.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Sahbi, what about you?
I'm more straightforward. I would ask him, what kind of positive things can you tell us within the last six months? And is there any evaluation report how Schreuder did, basically? Because he's refusing to point fingers at Schreuder, etc., just like EyeJax said. But then who's to blame? What kind of number do you give Schreuder? Why is Arne Slot doing well with Feyenoord with so many new players, more new players than we got, and still performing well? And he played against more tougher opponents in the Eredivisie. So I'm more of the content. How do you see it, and why are you keep refusing to point fingers?
Yeah, exactly. Because they refuse to point fingers at the Schreuder at this point.
Yeah.
Let me go with PapiMento first. We'll definitely talk about these points. PapiMento, what about you?
Sahbi said it already. For me, the question would be, what positives did he see from Schreuder that he is not looking to terminate his contract? That's one. And the second one is, how did the process go in the summer for attracting new players? And why is the necessity for a new technical director not there? Those are the most important question in my eyes for Van der Sar. I saw a lot of blah blah in his a lot of talk, but I didn't see a lot of decisive answers of what does he expect for the coming season. I mean, what, he just wants to throw money at it and he expects wonders? It's not sitting right with me yet,
Yeah.
And can I add something, Juan?
Sure.
To add about the players that got signed and stuff. My second question would be, there are rumors within the club that the scouting system is not being taken seriously at the moment. So what is the problem? Why are the scouts not being heard, and why are most of the signings, the rumors are that they are coming out of the head of the management of Schreuder. But with Overmars, it was a proven system. He trusted the scouts, and he had a lot of success during the last years. So also the board of directors and the other people within the club trusted Overmars with his decisions. So we take a totally different road now. And why are the scouts not taking seriously at the moment? This is my main question.
And that's the problem basically right now, because during the shareholders meeting, they actually confirmed that they do listen to scouts, and they still use scouting reports, etc. So, I mean, we got conflicting information, which gives me sufficient evidence that it's a mess internally. Something is going wrong internally, and nobody's pointing fingers. I mean, that's probably the reason why there's no technical director at this moment, because they don't want to fire anybody. They want to get in a technical director who needs to take responsibility to take up the right decision. And they're moving this way far forwards. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous at the moment, and it's really a dark day for me because of the interview of Van der Sar. I mean, that's basically why I'm really black.
I think the frustration right now, honestly, when I hear you guys talking, and also from me when we were preparing for this talk, when I went over the interviews and I will listen to Van der Sar, but also what Mike Verwij from Telegraaf said, what Freek Jansen from Football International said, these Ajax watchers, when you hear them, you know this how do you call it, this picture that you will see a lot on Twitter circling with Spider-Man pointing each other. This is exactly what I feel is going on at Ajax. Everybody is pointing at something, but nobody's taking the blame or nobody's taking the responsibility. Because let's talk about the summer quickly, right? So they're pointing out, basically, Van der Sar has pointed out a lot of changes. We sold players that we didn't want to sell at the end because the offer was too great. Now, I mean, what he's pretending to say basically is that Schreuder has a team which is not the team that he was promised, basically, and they feel guilty about it somewhat, and they feel like they didn't give him the tools that he needs to succeed. So this is what it comes down to. So what are your opinion about that? Basically?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of BS, because you have like arguments to say why it's not working in the Champions League, but still you suffered the biggest loss in the history of Ajax. So it also has to do with the coach not altering his tactics, like trying to have a fighting chance with your team, not just throwing them in front of the Lions and just hope for the best, And within the Eredivisie, with all due respect, we still have the strongest squad with the biggest budget, and we should still be number one by a mile.
Exactly.
So you cannot throw those arguments at me and say, these are the reasons why. No, with this budget and with these players, if you are able to spend like 30 million for Bergwijn and to spend 25 million for Bessie, and I hear rumors now that they are preparing maybe to sign new players for a lot of money in the winter break.
Yeah, we'll touch upon that.
It's not a valid argument for me, Juan. The Eredivisie should be a cruise, like cruising.
Yeah. Also another factor, we sold a lot of players. We signed a lot of players. How many of those players to you guys, let me go make a round on this one. How many players so far? I know it's early, a few months in the season. How many of those players has, like giving you a good feeling, like, okay, this is a good player, this is a good addition to the squad? Sahbi.
Difficult to say. You're talking about the new players, right?
Yeah, from the summer.
From the summer. Well, if I go one by one, Bergwijn, very disappointing. But hey, I already said that a few months ago. I won't go back to that again. Bessie began strong, but then he decreased a lot in his way of playing. Sanchez, not really. I'm not really convinced with his play. Vandal, didn't play a lot, but defensively a bit of a liability. But at least he gives something additional in attack, so that's a good thing. But I'm quite happy about Conceição. I mean, that player is he showed in those few minutes more than all those other players combined. I mean, that should say enough.
No.
No, but I mean, you should take it with a bit of salt. But I mean, there is no player that really outperformed or outshined this season, right? Okay. Come on, name me a player.
PapiMento, what about you?
Yeah, for me, 4 players. I mean, Bergwijn is quality. Conceição, quality and future potential to be a big man at Ajax. I think Wijndal is a good signing, and I think Bessie is also a good signing. I just think our coach is not getting the most out of this team, and he's not setting them up as a team. And if you look at the veterans, he could opt for different formations if the team is unbalanced, but he's not. So, yeah, I don't know, Juan. I mean, we can blame the players, but it doesn't look like a team on the pitch. We don't look like a compact team close to each other. We don't look like we know what we're doing. We don't know how to press anymore. We're just walking backwards instead of moving forwards when we want to capture the ball. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to just blame the players one by one when the team is completely out of.
I'm not talking about blaming. I mean, I'm talking about performing. At the end, it's Schreuder who messed up. No doubt about that at all. But you can clearly see there's no trust. There's no trust within the team, within the squad, and it shows on the pitch eventually. And that's why we're so bad at this moment.
EyeJax, let me ask you a question, right? We're talking about those players, right? Some fans are frustrated also because Schreuder, 3 months, 4 months in, after 14 games in the Eredivisie, 6 games in the Champions League, still shuffling around. Every time it's a different formation. Every time it's not formation. Every time it's a different starting 11, basically. He can also argue maybe to Van der Sar, from Schreuder's perspective, like, I haven't found my 11 yet. This team is not in balance. I'm trying to find the balance. If you were Van der Sar, and I would say that to you, does he has a point?
Yeah, but that also just proves my point that I mentioned earlier in other talks. He lacks self-awareness and being critical towards his performance and what he does. He can keep shuffling players and do all he likes to find his ideal 11. But if there's fundamentally something wrong with your tactics and you are not seeing it or trying to alter it when it's not going well, you can shuffle all you want, but it's not going to work. And the only thing you create with this is that no player feels the confidence that they will play the next match. So there's no confidence built. There's no gelling within the team with all the new signings getting in. So he's creating more problems for himself than actually look at his own tactics, what he can alter to make it gel together.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally, he's making wrong decisions. And the way he presents himself in the media and his lack of self-awareness, the way he talks about the club and the way he views the matches, also matches that we get an ass whooping, he still finds a lot of positives and is happy about certain stuff. I cannot imagine me saying that if I was the coach. So he is creating his own problems, in my opinion.
Wasn't he involved? By the way, wasn't he involved in all the transfers that came in? So if there isn't a balance,
Schreuder or Van der Sar?
Not Schreuder.
Yeah,
because
went to his agent, but we don't know how much he had to say about it.
Yeah, but his agent. I assume that he has talks with his agent.
It's Martin Jol all over again. Martin Jol all over again.
Yeah, indeed. So if there's an imbalance, it is basically it's partially because of him.
All right, guys. Just quickly before we move on, PapiMento, can you go over the comment section? Just throw some comments our way. Let's see what people have to say. Lewis, thank you for the super chat, my man. Big up to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. David Lee is here. Always with us.
David Lee.
Big up, David.
Statman Baines.
Statman.
Thanks, buddy.
Goat yourself, bro.
Always good to hear you from. Here we go. This is the right one from David Lee. Yeah. Let's see if we have some questions. What happened to Ocampos? I see here from Paul McNeil.
What happened to Ocampos? Who wants to take that one?
Well, okay, let's do a positive also, Juan, because we have all an opinion about Schreuder, and unfortunately, we all have the same opinion, so a little bit less discussion in that area. But with Ocampos, we have to give credit to the board of directors, because the initial fee that was discussed for a 20-year-old player or 29-year-old, help me here, was 20+ million. And you could see now, while we got him on loan, because the board of directors intervened, what kind of value he is for our team this season. And one could argue with Schreuder is not giving him minutes, but still, I was already in doubt when we wanted to sign him, but I'm so happy that we intervened, the board intervened, and that he wasn't signed on permanent transfer, because
the reason EyeJax you're saying that basically is because he hasn't been of added value to the team so far. But who of us knows what he can bring to this team? Nobody knows. We,
Yeah, but
we
no,
haven't seen him.
No, but
but
yeah, go ahead, Sahbi.
no, but that's a valid question, Juan. We haven't seen him, so we can't judge him based on the few playing time that he had. But then again, I'm asking myself, why did Schreuder want to have him if he doesn't use him? I assume he looked at his play, or was it somebody else who took the decision to bring him in for 20 million? I mean, there should be some background information, right? And now that he's on loan, we don't play him. I mean,
But the most worrying thing is the rumors. Well, actually, the reports coming in that he might leave again back to Sevilla in January.
yeah, but that wasn't the case in September or in October. I mean, that's
No, but I mean, I'm trying to say that this is a worrying sign, which means
yeah, definitely it is.
Yeah.
But we already knew.
Yeah.
It's 2 million lost.
But
probably.
I mean, he didn't use him at all. I'm happy we didn't buy him, to be honest. So yeah, good. And I think also, Schreuder is not getting the most out of his players. So Ocampos might be one of those that also didn't get this highest level under Schreuder. So yeah,
Nobody
good that
got
he's
this
going to
high
go back.
level on the Schreuder except for maybe Berghuis.
No, but I mean, we got also Grealish. We got other players that are also not being used. So Grealish is also a player that played a lot of games in the Bundesliga, and still he didn't get a lot of minutes. So
But
it's Schreuder, and he prefers Tadic on the right or Bergwijn on the right than playing an Ocampos, for instance. So
Yeah.
that says enough. And even Conceição gets more time than Ocampos. So
but
that
At
says
least,
a lot.
at least to stay positive, like Ajax said, at least they played more than Kaplan and Lisandro Magayan, right?
True.
but
True.
in
I'm
all
gonna
honest-
go
but in all
through
honesty,
some other questions, guys.
yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
okay.
I'm gonna go through some other questions because they're coming. So here
Sure.
somebody said, let's see, why don't we keep?
Put it on the screen, please.
Oh, here we go. Why don't you want to give him time? It takes time. I
Schreuder,
think he's talking about Schreuder. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the question. PapiMento, take it away, man. Why don't we give Schreuder more time?
Yeah, why? Give it.
Yeah, why?
Give it to us.
Yeah, why, man? Tell me.
Tell me why. Come on, man.
So what would you say? What would you say to Fassaway?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
you.
you.
Okay. Oh, you want me to take it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you look at the Emmen game, it says enough. I mean, you play one half, you're up 2 goals, and still you give the game away. And at the end, Bergwijn tells you, "Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what to do as a team." Yeah, that says enough for me as a coach that isn't in control of his dressing room, is not tactically smart enough to lead this team, and he's not the type of coach that will get us to where we need to be. So that's my take on it.
I think it's a very important take from PapiMento as well. And Fassaway, thank you for the question. I think this is the biggest reason why a lot of Ajax fans they think like there is no progress, because the question that I had for you guys as well is, do you feel Schreuder? I mean, it's early still, but it seems like if you hear the interviews, post-match interviews of certain players recently, it doesn't seem like they have a lot of confidence in Schreuder anymore. Did he lose the dressing room? What do you guys think? Sahbi, you're nodding your head. Go ahead.
It looks like it. I mean, it looks like it. You could clearly see the interviews, the frustration of Timber, the frustration of Bergwijn, telling the media that, as PapiMento said, he didn't even knew what to do in the second half. He looked really pissed, and he didn't give a fuck. Sorry for my language, but at the end, you could clearly see there was a lot of frustration amongst each other, but also towards Schreuder indirectly.
The frustration. You see clearly there's something going on between Blind
Yeah,
and Schreuder.
he lost the
You
dressing
don't know
room.
what it is. Schreuder denied it, by the way. But
Yeah, of course he
clearly
denied
there's
it.
something.
What else should he say?
Yeah, and Pasveer recently had an interview. He said like, you hear the players a lot saying like, we lost a lot of players, it takes time. But he also said we should have been further. He said that we should have been further in our development. So that's also something like, I'm like, whoa, okay.
It's a stab. It's a stab, not only on the back but also at the front.
But you know what it
But
is,
guys-
Juan? My main issue is if I saw some light at the end of the tunnel, I could agree with giving him a little bit more time. Same happened with even Kaiser got 6 months before he got sacked. Ten Hag wasn't peachy at the beginning also. But what we touched upon in our earlier talk, there are different facets to being a coach. Not only the results, the tactical stuff is also one of those points, but also the way he presents himself. And there's no point of those three that I can say, I have faith in this coach and I can see progress, or I can see some self-awareness with him that he knows what the problem is and tries to work towards it. It isn't there. And if all of those facets are there, it's a clear indication for me that he's not the right man for the job. If there would be some light at the end of the tunnel, I would say let's sit it out. It's maybe a building year, we can say that now, especially after the Champions League campaign, but it isn't happening. I cannot see any positive about the coach that I can throw in here, like, yeah, guys, we're a little bit critical, but have we taken this into consideration? It isn't there.
Before we go to the chat, one moment before we go to the chat, just quickly, because this is an important point also from EyeJax, and I want to ask you guys this. I was thinking about it today as well. We used to have this technical heart, right? We had Overmars in it, we had Van der Sar in it, we had Ten Hag in it, and probably somebody else also. But it was the core, right? They knew what to do. They knew which direction to go, which players would not come in without consensus of Overmars and Ten Hag. So these kind of things. Now I was thinking like, okay, you have two technical managers, but they are lightweights. Let's be honest, they're not the same as Overmars. You have Van der Sar, who actually is taking over some of the work that Overmars had, especially in certain transfers, and these kind of things, which he didn't have to do before. And you have Schreuder. So if Schreuder is underperforming, let's say he's underperforming, basically it's only Van der Sar that has to take the decision. There's nobody else, not even in the board. We don't have somebody with a football mind in the board.
But it's a valid question you're bringing up there, Juan, because
so is it
lightweight.
Yeah, but my question, or my rhetorical question basically is, are we surprised basically that they want to continue? Because the only one who can take that decision is Van der Sar. And let's be honest, you can say everything about Van der Sar, but Van der Sar is not really a risk taker or somebody that takes the harsh decisions. Am I wrong for saying this?
I think you're spot on, Juan. And I think you have to take into consideration also those lightweight you're discussing with Hamstra and Huntelaar not being at their job for a long time now. With Overmars and with Erik ten Hag, especially after a few years, you had some heavyweights in certain positions that weren't afraid to take decisions and also take responsibility for it. And they had vetoes towards each other if they wanted to block an incoming transfer or not. And that whole structure is gone now. There's so much lightweight within the club now. Even Van der Sar, you could say that he's still a little bit of a lightweight because he's growing into that role also. He has a very difficult role also because Overmars has now left the club, so he has more responsibility while his role was already one that he was growing in, But also the board intervening. How long ago can you remember the last time that the board intervened? Probably they thought the wrong decision is being made now. The people are not taking responsibility, so we have to intervene because if we do not do this, things will go the wrong way.
Yeah. And
with Overmars and Ten Hag, that wasn't there. That problem wasn't there because they knew what to do and how to handle.
But the reason also why I'm saying this is all true what you're saying. But the reason why I'm also bringing this up is when we then go to Schreuder again. Schreuder came into this organization, this club, football club, that is not functioning the way it's functioning before. So should we give him a relief on this, basically? Or it doesn't have to do anything. You guys segregate from what he's doing on the pitch, basically.
Yeah, we should get him a relief from his job,
Or from his duty.
From his duty.
From his duty. All right. Sorry, PapiMento. It was a bit long. Go ahead with the comments, bro. Sorry for that.
Let's do a couple because we do have some to go through.
Sure.
Shafi, thank you for the comment. The players are not happy. The faces on the bench, posts on social media, the words that are being used in the interviews. The club wants Schreuder, but do the players want to have him there?
Yeah, that's the
What
thing.
do you guys think?
We already covered it, basically.
Yeah, we covered it, man.
Yeah, basically, right?
Okay.
He also wants us to press the like button. So
yeah. So
guys,
for the ones of you,
out.
press the like button. Let's get some likes in. And if you enjoyed, also subscribe to our channel. We'll appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I saw here that Flex is even saying hi. Flex, say hi, let's. So that's good. Thank you, Flex.
Thank you, John.
Seamup, no comment, but he did sponsor us, so let's
Thank you
give
for
him a
the
shout out.
support, man.
No comment,
bro.
but still a huge comment.
A huge comment. Thank you.
Oh, he said this one. Loving the live content.
Appreciate that, bro.
Jerry Pearson. Guys, there's a serious thing bothering me, and that's the rumors about Schreuder is making money off the incoming transfer. It's an assumption, but scares me since the agent brought the players. What do we think?
Yeah, that's a difficult question and difficult situation, Jerry, because it's a lot of assumptions. I've heard the same thing, but you cannot like really give your opinion on it because we do not know if it's the truth or not. So it could be rumors, and a lot is being said in the media also. We know that, and it could definitely also be wrong. But if it is true, it will be a very, very bad thing and a bad.
He confirmed already during the press conference that it's absolutely not true, and if it's true, come with evidence, etc., etc. So my take is it's not.
But Sahbi, would he ever say it would be true if it is true? So it's the obvious answer. It's the obvious answer.
But he could say he was able to say nothing. Maybe.
You know
like,
what is?
No comment on it. But
yeah, we don't know much about it, so let's just continue. Is it just me? 43. Erik ten Hag may have had the same problem last season too. Ajax winning trophies painted over the cracks.
You That's guys a good agree? Point. How much did Ten Hag, like camouflage basically what's going on a higher level? I think that's basically the point.
Well, we did have better players. If you look at Anthony, Martinez, Mazraoui, Gravenberg, a lot of players left us. So I don't think we had as much cracks as we're having now. But if you look at Erik ten Hag.
But was it Ten Hag basically painting over the cracks, or was it Overmars painting over the cracks? What do you guys think about that?
Well,
let me ask you that question.
Wasn't Overmars that started the cracks a bit?
Yeah,
no,
true.
I mean when he was still at Ajax. That's what I mean.
I think Overmars had nothing to do with how we played, and we played some wonderful football. So, and look at how Erik ten Hag is working at Manchester United.
Exactly.
It's almost the same team that played last year, a horrible season. And look the progression already of what he's showing 100. In a much more difficult league, Juan. You have to give credit to Erik ten Hag. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Cibrano, Rosenfeld, can we rewatch the stream later? Yeah, we will put it online later. You can watch it as an extra talk. We just wanted to also engage more with you guys. So that's why we're doing the live stream. But yeah, you can always watch it later, guys.
And it will be next week's. It will be every time on Thursday. We will do a live stream.
We're trying to do, weekly.
Yeah. Except when Ajax is playing, then we will rotate it into another day, probably a Friday or something. So just keep tuning in and prepare your questions because we love engaging with you guys. So thanks for being here, Cibrano.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know what this is about, but you're spitting facts, Juan.
Always. Now. You guys know me now.
Our technical advisor in the background, hit the like button. Can we reach 50 likes?
Come on, man.
All good.
Could be possible.
Let's see. Steven is not very happy with Hamstra. Let's see what he has to say. Steven Joaquin. Sorry. Joaquin. Hamstra is a chump, and Martinez said so. It must be true.
Oof. Well, actually, talking about Hamstra, that interview, I think we covered this before as well. You remember before that game last week? I think it was Vitesse home game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or was it before that, the PSV game? I forgot which one it was. He was interviewed, and there were some critical questions. And he said, basically, do you know how many? Do you know how many times we went to the Champions League? I think it was a Champions League game, even. Sorry for that. And then he was basically saying it's not as bad as it looks. That's what he said. Like you guys are being too critical. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys see that interview or not?
I can't recall it anymore, to be honest. Okay. But everybody covering their own asses with not being too critical. We are Ajax. A certain standard is needed, and especially within the league. So I will not have it. Those comments. The Eredivisie is with the value we have presented within the players, within the pitch, it should be a walk in the park. So I'm not having it that we're being too critical. I can imagine the Champions League that you have some arguments there, but still, the heavy losses we had there, it's also not something that you can cover up because it has to do with the coach also, with the tactics that he implied in those matches. So no, we're not being too critical because the results says it all. We're in second place,
Even is right.
and this is just so bad. And even what Sahbi said earlier, Feyenoord has had much more tougher games within the competition, and I believe PSV also. So we're having the same points as PSV, but a better goal difference. Feyenoord is 3 points ahead of us, and they had tougher games than we had. So let that sink in for a bit.
Yeah, we didn't play Feyenoord yet. We didn't play Twente yet. So yeah.
This comment was interesting, guys. Going to the next one. Time and Voet. I was at Emmen at the sideline for making contact. To be honest with you, Blind and Klaassen were keep telling each other that Ajax were gonna tie, even after 1-3. No trust in the coach.
Wow.
Well, if this is true, then that says enough about our veterans, I must say.
Well, this brings me to another interesting point, basically, because Van der Vaart said not so long ago, a week ago, I think, a recent week, that clearly he saw some, like some players, especially he was blaming or pointing the finger at Blind in the second half against Emmen, probably sabotaging the game.
Yeah,
do you
but
guys think this is a stretch, or do you guys agree with him?
But I'm not having it about Blind because if I recall correctly, Blind came in when it was already 3-3, I believe.
No.
Right.
No.
We were leading.
Okay, then I'm wrong. Sorry, and with Klaassen, he's always giving his 100%. He's a true Ajax fan himself, besides being a player. So you can say a lot about Klaassen's qualities and stuff, but he never not gives his all. He may be not performing well during the match, but there will be maybe some other players that you could argue if they gave their best in those matches. It's difficult to say, man.
Yeah, PapiMento, what's your take on this? Do you agree with EyeJax?
I mean, yeah, Klaassen has always given everything, but if we also know that Blind had a argument with Schreuder.
No, we don't know. We are observing, and we're seeing things are not right. So
clicking very well, but I do think that the veterans need to have more self-reflection and the way they were playing, because they got a lot of trust from the coach, and they were playing bad for a while. So if I can understand that they're put on the bench, and then to just say these things just makes me very mad. Timon, I don't think he would lie about something like this. Even considering and discussing something like this is just very bad. And the way they played in the second half, Juan, I never seen Ajax play so bad in a game before. And this is Emmen, man. It's 2 goals we just gave away in that second half, and we didn't look like we were going to score. If it wasn't for Kudus, we wouldn't have had any chances. So,
well, actually, honestly, we could have lost that game, even, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sahbi, do you have any comments additionally to this?
No,
I mean, argument that players maybe are not giving 100%, because how much of this also has to do with the World Cup coming up?
Exactly. That's what I wanted to
give everything because they're fearing of getting injured.
Exactly. That's basically my take. I mean, what Van der Vaart said is a bit far-fetched with regards to sabotaging, but I'm convinced, besides the fact that these players were on the bench, the veterans, I'm convinced that they didn't give their utmost because they were afraid for certain injuries right before the World Cup. They were playing on AstroTurf, which can create very easily injuries. And they thought maybe 1-3, it's a go. It's a done deal. And yeah, what happens if you think like that, and that's basically what happened, unfortunately. But it's still bad, really bad.
Yeah, very bad. And the way Emma was just more comfortable on the ball. That says it enough for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's also something that I saw. I was also surprised about that. True. Okay, so
this is a question. Yeah, we have a lot actually. Should just continue.
Go ahead. We'll take the
let's just go through it. How much of the training staff left with Ten Hag? Because I look at the training element and how it affected our player during the match. Steven,
can you go back to the Brazil fan? We didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Italo. Welcome, bro.
Ajax fan from
Yeah.
Brazil.
What time is it there?
Good to have you, man. It's
Go
good
ahead.
to have
Go ahead.
you.
All right. Good to have him. Good to have him on the channel as well.
Good to have you.
Steve. Okay. So
How much
Read it.
trading staff? Yeah, so I think he only took his assistant with him, and Bogarde was let go by Schreuder, right? How much of the
Yeah.
training staff left
How
with
much
Den
of
Haag?
the training staff left with Den Haag? Because I looked to the training element on how effective our players are.
Wasn't the fitness performance coach also poached by Man U? I believe.
Well, we
It's
know
also
that
part of the staff.
we know that the assistant of Ten Hag, Van der Gaag, went with him.
Mm.
Yeah.
And in terms of the changes, Bogarde left. We know that as well. How much of that is for you guys also a problem? You know that Bogarde is no longer in that staff of Schreuder.
I think
He brought the German coach. Nobody knows what he does. That's the whole joke going on right now on Twitter, at least. But we know he's for the attacking part of Ajax. But some people are questioning how do you make Bogarde, an Ajax player, legend, also leave like this? So what's your view on this, Ajax?
It's difficult, Juan, because I believe Bogarde had a very good relationship with the players. So I read that somewhere that they were very happy with him. And I think Bogarde, as we know him, is a player or is a coach that speaks his mind, He's not afraid to say things or state the obvious. And something tells me that because that Ajax was maybe being cautious, because with the Overmars thing happening within the club, and there were also some rumors about Bogarde within his private situation, not like at Ajax, but some things came up privately, that they maybe thought all this taken into consideration is maybe better to let him off like this instead of, I think they also took this into consideration also.
But wasn't it a Schreuder decision? Because the way
we do not know this.
But the way you're arguing right now, it was an Ajax decision. But was it not more Schreuder wanting Kaltenbach in his staff?
I don't know, because was Bogarde an attacking coach? I believe he would be coach defender, so it's a different cup of tea. So I do not know. I do not know if Schreuder doesn't want him or it's the club, but I think personally maybe this has something to do with it also. And I think Kaltenbach and Bogarde are two different kind of coaches. So yeah.
Okay, guys, let's get through some of the other ones.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Because we're taking too long on the comments. So, Timon, again, the story is true. I'm sorry. So he's confirming that this is really what happened. So
thank you, Timon, for this one.
Yeah,
thank you for the info. Don Q with a question about you guys. What do you think about the news that we're looking to make some new transfers this winter? Should we really entrust Hamstelar with our precious funds? Good question.
Well, can I go with this one first?
Go ahead.
Go.
You're the boss.
I think the biggest difference between what happened in the summer and what we're seeing right now, also according to what I've read today, actually, from Freek Janssen, Ajax watcher from the Football International, is that in recent months they sent scouts to Argentina and Brazil, and they have been working on finding players to strengthen the squad. So I think the scouts are now being taken more seriously compared to the summer. So in that regard, I would say I do trust it because I do trust our scouts. That's their job. But will Schreuder, that's the thing I don't have full trust personally. So far, we have seen Schreuder make every player play worse this season. Let's be honest, except for Berghuis maybe. So that's an exception. So even if we get Messi, how much of a trust we have that he will succeed with Schreuder? That's basically the question. So yes, I trust the scouts, but I don't know if Schreuder can get most out of the players. That's basically also why I, or maybe we, are so hesitant about it. What do you guys think?
But I think it goes way deeper than that, and I think it's some valid points you're making there. But if you lost like certain players within the dressing room, it's like a tumor that is growing within your organization. Yeah. So you can do whatever you want and bring in other players you want, but you have certain player power within a club. And if veterans like behave a certain way, other players will look towards the veterans and maybe copy that behavior. Because if they are allowed to do it, then it is normal to do it. They are an example, so they can be a good example. Like you hear coaches saying all the time, he's maybe not playing, but he's so important for us in the dressing room, blah, blah, blah. But if they're setting a bad example, they will follow them also. So I do not think he can save his ass, even with other players. You have to have the dressing room. And I'm very much doubting if he still has it.
Well, one of the an additional to the report, basically from Freek Jansen, was also that Ajax is also looking to get rid of some players that are not good enough, but also that brings.
Factor.
I'm sorry.
Disturbing factor within
the dressing room as well. So if this is taken care of, EyeJax, would that alleviate a little bit your opinion on this one?
You know what it is, Juan. I do not want to be negative, but I lost my faith in the coach. So what is the easier solution? Somebody who can handle the dressing room and can handle these players, or just get rid of all the players mid-season? It's not going to work, man. I'm not believing it's only one player. I'm believing it's a bunch of players and part of the group that is the problem. And I'm not saying even it's the problem. It's not professional from their side. But how can you expect from players to have self-awareness and play for the club that they should, because they should be professionals and they should give their utmost? Doesn't matter which the coach is at the head of Ajax. But if the coach doesn't have self-awareness, how can you expect the players to have self-awareness? He should set an example, and he's not doing it.
PapiMento.
But this correlates always with results, right?
1 minute. Just I want to add something to this, to you, because you're going over the comments all the time, but I want you to react also on something, if that's okay. How much of what Ajax is saying right now do you also look at Schreuder like the hierarchy? We're not looking at disturbing factor or the toxic environment. We're looking at the hierarchy in the squad. How much has this, in your opinion, been distorted as well because of how Schreuder treats the players on the pitch? We don't know off the pitch, but on the pitch at least, with all this shuffling, putting them in maybe wrong positions, and these kind of things. Do you think this also translates to the dressing room?
Yeah, it does. I think the rotational play has, if you look at the beginning of the season, for instance, we were playing much better. But I think the rotational play made everybody, like, during the season just play worse and worse. And I do feel that when he substitutes, it's not a tactical change. It's usually just a player for another player. And it's not to make us better. It's just because he wants to give minutes to that player. So I'm not totally convinced about the coach and his tactical ability. And that's where I'm at now. I'm not seeing him making the team press better, making him work better, making them more compact. Even changing formation, Juan, I wouldn't mind as long as he gets the more out of his team. And he's not doing that. And to bench veterans, it's always a correlation with results, because a veteran will not sit on the bench and then you losing. And of course, he's going to be pissed and telling you, see, you shouldn't be benching me. So he should be winning those games with the team he's setting up, and then the veterans will get in line. But that's not happening because we're playing terrible.
Yeah. Sahbi, do you have anything to add? Yeah, Sahbi, do you have anything to add to that?
Nothing to add, bro. Nothing to add.
Okay, good. PapiMento, go ahead with the comments. How much do we have still?
There are still more coming. So
all right, let's go for it.
Brazil, Italo, Gyro saying we need to focus on the right side, particularly Wrench, Timber. Wrench is Timber, bench. So we need to sign a right back. Okay. And a right winger for sure. So, and then we go to the next one. Matthijs van Abbe. Is Ziyech really a transfer that would be a good move for Ajax this winter?
Sahbi, take that away, man.
Oh, I mean, I would love him. I would love him at Ajax. It's not the specific right winger that we seek, but I would love to have him as a right winger or as a 10. We lack creativity in the attack, and he can definitely bring that. But now that the World Cup is coming up, I don't know whether it's still feasible to get him in, because if he plays some good matches, he can easily go to the Serie A, because he almost went to AC Milan, and there are definitely other clubs interested in him. So I think it's past station.
How much of the relationship between Schreuder and Ziyech could be?
I wanted to touch upon that also, because he will back the coach. He's been like this with Schreuder throughout his career. So, but will it make a difference? I do not know. It would be a veteran coming in with a lot of stature within the club, so he could make a difference. But I think the problem goes way deeper than this, Juan, to be honest.
All right, but you would love to see him back, of course.
Of course, he's a legend.
Good.
So, guys, we're getting also Manchester United comments. You guys want to?
No, hold on. C1 also shot a lot of questions in the beginning and later on in the chat. So put one on from him. And I saw IZK also mention it in the chat that.
I see one of him. Okay, let's do this one then.
That's a good question.
This is the one.
Fair question.
Fair question.
C1 about Univar. Why did we loan him out?
Yeah, take that one, Papi.
I mean, look, if you're talking about would Univar get a chance in this season under Schreuder? No, I don't think so. We have a lot of midfielders. He's not even using the proper midfielders on the right positions. So I don't think Univar would have a chance. And I think for his physicality, for his growth, he needed more competition than the young Ajax. So I think that was a logical choice to loan him out. If the club in Turkey, if was the best choice, that I'm not aware of, because I'm totally not up to the level of Turkish league, So
he doesn't play.
C1 had another one also. Hey guys, love the content. Question: if we were to sign a winger, should we try again for Kamaldeen?
I think that I think that ship has sailed, to be honest.
Exactly, and he's also very injury prone. He doesn't play a lot in France.
My problem is also, I have a lot of faith in Chico Conceição. So if you bring in other players like Ziyech, it will also stagnate the growth of Conceição on that right wing. And I think we are coming to a point that Schreuder, and that is the problem I have with his tactical awareness, he needs to play players in their right position. Kudus is a 10, not a striker. Chico is a right winger, while Bergwijn and Tadic both aren't performing up to par on that right wing. So if you have to make rough decisions, you have to bench like Tadic or maybe Bergwijn if they're not performing. No player is above the club, and give players like Chico a chance at that right wing position. You cannot explain, and it's always the same discussion, Yeah, he's young, he still needs to grow. How can he grow and perform if you're not playing him? What I saw of him, yes, it wasn't flawless, but he isn't afraid to go to the back line, to pass a player and to get into that duel. And
at least try something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of other players, especially Bergwijn, not on his natural position, the only thing he can do at the left wing is cut inside and try to go for the shot. He's not even aware some of the times of the other players being in a free position to have a tap in or something. And on that right wing, it's the same thing. Bergwijn is even worse on that right wing, in my opinion, than Tadic played there, because Tadic tries to flick to the other side, flick back again, and try something with his weak foot sometimes. Chico can be a breath of fresh air on that right wing. But if you bring in a veteran, what happens to him? Will he get his minutes? Will he be able to convince what his value is for the team? Those things are also bothering me, Juan.
Yeah, but you need, the only thing I would say is you do need two players at least on a position that are competing with each other, right?
Yeah, so, definitely.
100.
Okay, let's go with the next
next one. Yeah, it's coming through. Just a second, guys. I saw here.
I believe we had another super chat also.
Yeah, PapiMento, take your time.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Shafi, thanks for the donation. 40 minutes on the way. You guys enjoying the stream? Are you asking us?
Yeah, we're enjoying it. Are you guys enjoying it? That's the question, basically.
This is what it's all about. We like to. We do our channel in English, because we love to bring all the fans together all over the world. There's a lot of Ajax fans out there that are native Dutch speakers, and we love the engagement with you as a fan base. We tried to establish this platform like 3 years ago to create a space that all fans can come together. The Dutch ones, the international ones, and we are so happy that we finally are at the stature that we can do these live streams, because this is what we were looking forward to engage with you guys and to like give back all the love that you always give us each week within the comments and on Twitter. So I'm enjoying this thoroughly, and I hope you guys enjoy it too, because there's more to come.
It felt with the extra talk, it felt one-sided. Now I feel like I'm really engaging with everyone. People just throwing in questions,
connecting,
whatever they want to know, we can discuss. So that's something I'm really enjoying. Yeah, definitely.
True, man. All true.
Okay, next.
Administrator, shout out to our administrator, IFK 500. Can you let us know that we reached the 50 likes yet, or are we still?
Yeah, we already did, I think, like almost.
Good.
No, not for sure. No,
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for the super
I will
chat.
check it. Thank you, guys. Best of Manuel Pritzel. What would you say to Mark Vlekken as the new goalkeeper?
Sahbi, go ahead with this one.
Go for it.
Yeah, I wasn't negative in the past about Vlekken, but I mean, an Ajax keeper should be able to play ball. It should be a good line keeper, and that's basically what he is at this moment. So he plays Freiburg, plays international football in the Europa League, if I recall it correctly, doing quite well in Germany, in the Bundesliga. Also has a lot of doesn't concede a lot of goals. So yeah, if it was up to me, I would give it a try. If it's not that,
is it even a realistic target? Because I don't know what the salary is, but is it a realistic target for Ajax? To be honest, like I don't even
why
know.
not? He's still coming from Freiburg.
Can I play devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
You know, we
Always.
have Pasveer, and he's not performing like the same way he performed last season. And one could argue that it also has to do with the defense and with the rest defense and with us getting countered upon. So there are a lot of arguments to cover that up. But Gorter was sacrificed immediately after that Johan Cruyff game at the beginning of the season that we lost against PSV. Not the whole squad was like match fit yet because we had less preparation than PSV had. But Pasveer has had some arguably, bad moments also last week that I thought this one was savable. This one he should have had. So isn't it time for maybe Gorter to also get another chance? Because Pasveer hasn't been peachy also, So are we writing off Gorter at all? Because he's still there at the club.
No.
He's a young goalkeeper,
I don't mind him getting another chance, but wasn't the last young Ajax? Is he still playing for young Ajax, by the way? Because I see a different goalkeeper there.
No.
Yeah.
Where is he getting his experience now?
I would strongly, I'm strongly in favor of not doing that, and the reason for this being a young player, bringing up a young player in a team that's dysfunctional, is even worse for his progression. And one of the things that a goalkeeper should do, especially with players that play high lines like ours, is coaching. That's why Pasveer, the thing that he has over Gorter, basically, is his coaching ability, talking to the players. That's also one of the things that Martinez credited him for last season, or Timber. Gorter is not there yet. That's something he has to develop. And if you bring a young player that is not so, developed in coaching, and you have a team that's being countered on, and we're not defensively, we look suspect all the time, I don't think that's the way to go. So I would strongly advise against it mid-season.
But as a counterpoint to that, Juan, this great coach that brought us the last European success, Louis van Gaal, our current head coach of the national squad, he always tries to have a few, and he stated that in his interview, has a few young players within his dressing room, young players within his squad that are still, he can mold into something, and there's still a breath of fresh air, and just go for it either way. If the veterans are not performing, why not try that youth player, or why not try the younger player to
Van Gaal is somebody that has fixed structure on how he wants to play and how everybody has to obey these structures. We don't have a structure.
I agree, but still, it could be a possibility to also take this into consideration. And I try to also create a bridge for you towards another subject. So go ahead, man.
Well, actually, I want to go over the comments. I don't want to leave anyone behind with the comments.
Let's go. This is a good one. I did want to, because I watched some comps. So thoughts on the rumors of us buying Danilo from Palmeiras, and whether Ajax should give a try on Endrick, the Brazilian wonder kid.
That's somebody who plays a lot of football manager, man.
I didn't watch Endrick. Did any of you watch Endrick? Because I only watched Danilo comps.
Look, to sign a Brazilian player, my experience right now is if there are a lot of clubs interested, it's going to be very tough for us. We have to be very early. We even bought Anthony at a very early stage, to be honest. You know,
True.
so
Yeah. Hendrik has been considered
and-
a way better talent than Vinicius and etc. Neymar and so
I
and so on.
think all
So
the top clubs will be
forget
out.
about that. Forget about that.
Yeah.
But Danilo, I know there's interest,
Yeah.
but we also heard from Freek Jansen, was it, that said that Edson Alvarez might leave this winter period or this transfer period already in mid-season.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that's relevant? That's going to happen? Because then we do need somebody as a CDM, and Danilo would be perfect for that.
Even if we get Danilo, in my opinion, we shouldn't sell Alvarez mid-season. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
And
me too. But
and C1, sorry, on Endrick, I didn't watch it, so I couldn't tell you how good he is, to be honest.
Let me say it like this, you know, if our scouts, let me put it like this: if our scouts are in favor of these players, and they are maybe realistic targets, these scouts have a proven track record in the last seasons under Overmars and under Ten Hag. I would give those scouts a little bit more confidence, you know, and try those players, because the way we bought players in the last transfer break, it isn't working out. So please, no more players out of the head of the manager or the, how do you say it, agent of Schreuder, and just trust the scouts. So if the scouts are in favor, I would say go for it.
Go for what exactly?
Go for those players.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think that's good.
It's a no-go.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But would you be of the opinion of selling Edson Alvarez in January if we get the signing?
I'm not of the opinion that we should sell Edson Alvarez at all, because he's even more important for us with the way Schreuder is playing. You know, so far up the field, so many counterattacks against us. Nobody to like keep the balance. And you saw it in the last. You saw it in the last game. He was absent.
Yeah,
and we just got overrun because nobody's thinking defensively. That is the problem with the coach that says, you know, I saw some good things, we are improving, and the thing is, you know, we just need to score more goals than the opponent scores. It doesn't matter if we concede 5, if we score 6, it is good. And this is
how much did you concede already?
So many, but this is something which what Ten Hag didn't do. You know, he was a stubborn mule also. But he had a certain tactic. He stick to the plan. And sometimes we had the problem with him with the way he was substituting or not giving players certain playing time, you know. But he was damn sure to also think about the defensive part, what the team had to do. So maybe we were not creative enough. Like last season, you know, we had a few games that we were at 0-0 or we couldn't get the win. But defensively, we were sound.
true.
And this is not happening at the moment with our current squad, because the coaches of the philosophy, doesn't matter if we concede, as long as we outscore them.
Yeah,
You would never hear Ten Hag say that.
You know,
That's
I know.
the big
That's
difference.
true. That's true, but you're overreacting. I mean, you took it a little bit out of context. The reason why he said that is because he's still in the development stage. That's basically what he said. So at least,
but I'm hearing a lot of ifs and buts from him, Juan.
Understood. Okay, let's
Too
move on.
too many ifs and buts, right?
Yeah,
Let's go on.
Exactly. Guys, we don't have much time. I think by 1 hour we're quitting this. So
Yeah, so let's
do the
go to the
last one.
comment section.
Let's do this one. Besides the first team, from
Don
Don
Q.
Q, do you guys like to watch young Ajax in the youth teams? Who wants to take it?
Let me
And
go
I
first.
saw also. No,
Let me
I
go
saw
first.
also in the comments that they want more opinions from Juan. So Juan, you start.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, man.
You
Got
guys
hands.
don't give me- yeah, but that's the thing. I try to talk. You guys don't give me any time to talk, guys.
Oh, now it's my
Sure,
fault. Oh
sure
my
it is.
God.
Sure
No,
it is.
joking. From my point, I watch young Ajax every now and then, not always. I cannot watch it always. And the youth teams, I don't have time. I do watch the UEFA youth team if I get a chance, but it's because of my job and my private life and these kind of things. It's very hard for me to keep track of everything. But young Ajax every now and then I do watch. And by the way, if you guys go to the young Ajax games, maybe next season, maybe we can join and watch the game live. You know, we can go to.
Yeah, we actually, PapiMento and Sahbi and I actually did that last season. We went to a young Ajax game, but unfortunately, with the schedule, with WeTalk, and also with real life, you know, it's sometimes difficult to attend those games. So we definitely want to also watch more games live. But if time allows it, then we try to watch it on the television, and especially the UEFA Youth League. I try to watch that when I have time during the day.
Yeah.
But it's not always possible, of course. With
Look, there are some players from the youth teams that are very excited. Vos, Hato, If Conceição or Luca play for young Ajax or Regeer or Baas, I want to watch. But if I see Perry, whoop, I stop like with the interest immediately.
Wow.
So there's definitely like some players excite me, some players don't excite me, and based on that, I sit down and watch it.
Yeah, Sahbi, you?
No, I only watch a few games of young Ajax and for the youth teams, not at all. But it also had to do with not having much time, but also Heitinga, who doesn't really impress me with the way young Ajax plays. Really
Perfect
boring.
bridge, man. Perfect bridge. Perfect bridge. I wanted to ask you quickly, Heitinga contract extension, 2 years to 2025. Are you guys happy with that? Quickly, Sahbi?
Yeah, I mean, at this moment, he wouldn't be fit to coach the first team. Still doesn't play the type of football that we want to see. But this gives him and Ajax time and space to keep on developing, and maybe in a few years he can take over the role from whoever will come.
Are you of the opinion that he has to go coach another club before he can become a coach of Ajax?
I would have loved that.
Would you like him to be directly, like Frank de Boer, for instance? He went from Ajax internally, became the head coach. Is that an option for you for Heitinga, or not the case?
Well, both options are okay, but I would have loved to see him coaching another team, to see how he how he approached that team in the way they play attacking football, the way we play, the type of Ajax play, whether he can develop that inside that club. So I would love to see that, but will it happen? I don't think so.
All right. Thank you for the question. Let's move to the next one. We're running out of time.
We don't have many else, Juan. So can I just respond to the Heitinga one, just quick?
Yeah,
don't forget that Heitinga. I'm a little bit more excited. Yeah, I saw it from David. Thank you so much, David. Let me put it on the thing when I'm discussing. David, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Love. About Heitinga, I was looking at his age, 39, Ajax DNA. I'm a little bit more excited than Sahbi.
Me too.
He has a future. I did tweet that if he ever wants to become an Ajax head coach, he needs to make a sidestep. But he's also now at young Ajax. He's getting the time to develop. Same as Ruud van Nistelrooy got the time at young PSV, and he's always dependent on the quality of players he has from the youth, right? So what we can judge him on is he making players better. That's the most important thing. And are we seeing progression? And with some players, I am seeing it. So I'm very happy for Heitinga, and I'm happy he's getting more time. But eventually, he does need to make the sidestep, 100%.
I've never heard PapiMento use the word happy so much in a few sentences.
Ajax DNA, man.
Totally different guy, this PapiMento nowadays. But yeah, I do agree with him on this one, Juan. I think Heitinga has a future at our club, and maybe it will not be as a head coach immediately, but maybe he can make that step as an assistant first. Maybe if there's another head coach, they can give him the role like a Michael Reiziger has at the moment, bring him into the squad, introduce him a little bit more to the first team, and then after maybe the coach leaves, he can take over the reign. This is also a possibility that we should not overlook, it doesn't have to be somewhere at a different club. And he has that DNA, so we should give him a chance at least.
I think a head coach has a whole different role than an assistant coach, to be honest, because an assistant coach is more with the team and getting personal relations. Yeah. And the head coach has to be a little bit off of that. So for me, is like the next step shouldn't be assistant coach. It should be head coach at a different club.
But this is only looking at it from one way, because you can learn a lot as an assistant coach from certain experienced managers. No, I even saw this documentary. I even saw this documentary about Louis van Gaal that's now on NPO, and he has his hero also. He looked a lot at Rinus Michels. The how do you call it? The kleine generaal or the little general in English.
Yeah.
So even he had his role models and people to look at and to learn from and to copy certain stuff. And this is one of the greatest that we've had within our country, you know, Van Gaal. So I think as an assistant manager, you can also learn a lot and not have to do it all on your own as a head coach immediately. It would be a perfect step in between becoming a head coach.
It depends. It depends on the coach itself. I mean, Schreuder, he was an assistant, but he sucks at being a head coach, for example. So, I mean, it depends on the type of and the character of that specific coach. And Heitinga can be a dominant person. So he might be a good head coach eventually. But by starting him as assistant, we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, guys, it's almost the end. Vector, quickly, he keeps using, so Heitinga keeps using Perry, who blocks the progression of an actual talent. Yeah, totally agree. I think we all agree to that. Thank you for leaving a comment.
That was the funniest thing I saw all season, man. I did watch a little bit of young Ajax, and there was one moment with Perry that the keeper already touched the ball, and he thought he needed to take the goal kick, and he just took it into his hands and gave away a penalty. That was so funny, man.
I think everybody saw it. Look, guys, we were supposed to talk a little bit about the upcoming World Cup. So we're not going to really have time for that. The only thing I would ask briefly is how far can this Dutch team go? So let's just go make a round quickly. And maybe next week we'll have more time to talk about that. Sahbi, you first.
If I look at my own predictions, I would say Netherlands quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, yeah.
Van Gaal said they can become world champions, bro.
They can, and I hope. But will it be? Yeah, I think because my prediction would be Argentina against the Netherlands in the quarterfinals, and then it's a level of difference between those two.
So you think Morocco will go further than the Netherlands? I have to ask the question, bro.
Maybe in my dreams, but I hope they will go through. They go as far as possible, but yeah, of course there's no way of thinking about that.
All right. PapiMento.
I said the same thing. I think quarterfinals, that will be it. But it wouldn't surprise me if they manage to get to the second round, to the semifinals, but then it's really it. So that's the highest possible, I think.
Okay. EyeJax.
Hey, man, just like Louis has some heroes, he's one of mine. I think he's a terrific coach, and I love his personality, you know. A lot of people hate him, but I love the guy. But if he trusts the process and if he's saying there's a possibility that they will become world champion and he's stating it, I will keep putting my money on Louis. So I'm just going all the way, guys, until proven wrong.
Perfect. Guys, we've come to the end of the live stream, our first live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't queue quickly. No Perry tonight. Yeah, Young Ajax is playing. Hato, Regeer, Aartse, and Vos.
Oh, great, man.
That's very good. We'll be back next week. Same time, same day, and we'll touch upon the World Cup a little bit more. Get the likes up if you haven't yet, guys. Subscribe to our channel. Love the support, love the engagement, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Peace.